One of the things that you and I have in common um, is we've both spent a good amount of time at the Eastridge Mall. I grew up in Eastside San Jose.
No way.
My first job was at the Hollister in Eastridge, and I worked there for like
Retail. I know. I was in retail too, dude. I was like
yeah.
in the guest store.
So I was there for like I was there for like I lasted a month. I was like 17 years old, but obviously you are there permanently. You are the founder of Kidz Groove, which is a studio that offers free dance workshops at Eastridge Mall for kids. I'm curious to know, like, why did you start Kidz Groove, and how why do you think dance is so important for kids to learn?
So I started Kids Groove because I saw that there was a lack in mentorship and support when it comes to the youth, and not just the youth, because I feel like when people say youth here, they meant like the young adults, like the teens, right? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about the kids, the 3-year-old, the 5-year-olds, the
Mm-hmm.
7 and 8. They are the ones that are just, I feel like there's just a lack of, of people trying to mold them. And they are so perfect because they are actually teaching you as well as a person. So they're
Hmm.
like a student and a teacher. And that's how I saw them. And they taught me so much. And I remember seeing myself in their shoes when nobody was really there to teach me about confidence, to teach me about self-esteem, of how to use my voice and how to, you know, basically claim my power, my powers as a little kid who has so much abilities that people just take advantage or don't even acknowledge. And I remember just seeing these kids and they're super shy, but then at the same time, when they hear music, their body just starts to move and this whole other level of confidence comes out. But and then other kids, they literally cannot. They're just like, they're crying. They're just like shaking, like, please don't make me move. and and that would break my heart. This one mom was bringing this her daughter to my studio just to try, just to say hi to me, basically, because she knew if she was going to tell her daughter this is a dance class, her daughter would not leave the house.
Hmm.
And seeing her daughter just like crying outside my studio and like begging her mom not to bring her inside, that actually broke my heart because I was like, man, a lot of these kids, they're like this. And why are they like this? They shouldn't be like this. They know that they're confident, and you know how kids are, right? They're like, yeah, I'm the shit. They just have that natural confidence that's just built in them, right?
Hmm.
And at a young age, it's gone. And
Yeah.
in my head, I was just like, what's going to happen to the next generation if they continue living like this? They're not going to survive out there. They're not going to survive what the real world is going to give them because they don't even believe in themselves. So that really inspired me, like just motivated me to just go on with this brand, even though I didn't have any support, didn't know anything about marketing, about none of that. I would do my own posts before and you know learn how to edit videos just to tell kids like, hey, I'm here and this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make you guys believe in yourself. And it's not that I'm teaching them the dance because kids already have that in them. They're just naturally creative, and they're very observant. That's why they learn faster. Um, and when I just saw that opportunity, I never wanted to let it go. Like, I see myself doing this not just for me, but really for them, for the next generation, for them to survive out there. And hopefully, they look back and remember me and maybe do the same thing to the younger kids, the younger generation. So I just wanted to create like a community, a movement for kids. I even have this hashtag with Kids Group. It's called Kids Movement, and I wanted to help them create their own movement. I see that women have their movement now, teens, the LGBT community, but there's no kids, and to me, they're literally the most powerful, because when you see a kid doing amazing things, like there's two things that are going to happen. You're going to feel bad because you're a freaking adult and you're not doing this. And it's going to make you do it either by guilt or just because, you're embarrassed, right? Or it will inspire you. It'll inspire you to be a better person. It'll inspire you to do better, because obviously we could do so much more than little kids, just because, lack of freedom, they're always with their parents, and sometimes their parents really don't share what they want to do in life. Like you said, almost all Filipino parents want you to become a nurse, want us to become a nurse. I feel like it's just those two things: become a celebrity or become a nurse or a doctor or something. Become somebody important, right? Um, but they are already important, and we don't use that, and we don't see that, and I just want to change something about that, because I feel like I'm still a kid. I still have my inner child attached to my soul, my personality, and I can relate to them. I can talk to them as if I'm a kid. I can, whenever I love making kids feel powerful and confident. And when you see that on stage, literally, their parents would tell me, "What did you do to my kid? Oh my God, last month he wouldn't even dance like in front of me, and now he's dancing in front of like hundreds of people on a big stage."
Wow.
And they would tell me stories like, my kid, when I go grocery shopping, when they hear music, they don't care. They just dance in the middle of the aisle and just like, like literally don't care anymore. Versus before, where they would just cry when, when there's two or three people in the room. And they said they're very handy when it comes to birthday parties at relatives' house because they'll be like the performer of the party, the entertainer, and everybody would be so proud and give them money. So yeah, those are all the feedback that I'm getting, and I'm just like, man, this is what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly what my purpose is. And I'm still using dance, which is my gift, and I'm using my knowledge in the show business industry of how to do things, right? How to do the workshops and how to empower and my connections, But sometimes when I use my name here, it still works, thank God. And they would put me on shows. And then instead of just performing by myself, I actually bring my kids. They're my squad, they're my co-dancers, and I would fill the stage with other kids. And it would be just an incredible performance. The audience loves it. I love it. Their parents would be crying on the side. It's an amazing feeling. It's so freaking priceless. And I would do this over and over again, even though it was a difficult and hard journey.
I appreciate you bringing up the sort of importance of instilling that confidence in kids, because I think for a lot of people, especially, I turned 30 recently, and so, I think once you get into your late 20s, you start to look back at your childhood and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm this way because this happened to my childhood. And so for me, it's like I'm definitely in that space where I'm like, wow, I could have used a lot more confidence when I was a kid. So I think that's so important, because like what you say, it really does have a profound impact. Yeah, because like, like luckily I did a lot of things that sort of instilled some confidence in me early on. But I know that for a lot of kids who are either, shelled up in home at their homes, or, they only study
experiencing verbal abuse from, families. Like I experienced verbal abuse and physical abuse. I feel like that's just a natural thing when you're a Filipino kid, right?
Yeah.
But that, you're right. It really, it's a huge impact when you grow up. That self-worth, how you see yourself, that voice that keeps like in your head, like you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're dumb, you're stupid, blah blah blah. That doesn't go away just because you're an adult.
No.
Because you can pay your own bills and you have your own, things to do that just because your parents are not there anymore, that doesn't go away. That
Yeah.
stays with you, and it's heartbreaking. Like, I'm still freaking going through it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna let that drag me down. I have that fighting spirit, and I guess that's what I want the kids to have, like somehow they know that they're worth everything.
So when we talk about dance, especially in dancing in 2020, I think it's hard to have that conversation and not talk about TikTok. I think TikTok is obviously the fastest growing social media
Oh
platform,
God.
and one of
I know, I
the
just created my TikTok. Can you believe that? I just created my TikTok account.
it's never too late. It's never too late. And one of the biggest features of TikTok are obviously the viral dance videos. And one of the biggest criticisms a lot of people have about TikTok dance videos is how all these dancers, some of them are really good and some of them are not good, which I think brings up the question of who do we create art for? Do we dance for ourselves or do we dance for other people? And so my question to you is, what do you think makes someone a good dancer? Is it the look? Is it the personality? Is it the effort? And are there right and wrong ways to dance?
Wow, that's such a great question. Thank you.
Mhm.
So with my kids, I teach them two types of dancing. I teach them freestyling, which they're most of the time they're really, really good at it already. It's just a natural thing that they have.
Mhm.
And then number two is choreography. I teach them how to count when into dancing so they can move with a group, or they can teach somebody, oh, this is how you do it, 1, 2, 3, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So what I always tell them is, you could be the most amazing, dancer. Like, your moves could be super clean and you're not awkward when you move. But if you don't add flavor to your dance, if you don't add a
Mm.
game face in your dance, if you don't add emotions, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, how do you think your audience is going to feel? How is your audience going to enjoy your dance when you're not even enjoying it yourself?
Yeah. It's like
So I
making sure
would
that you have
always,
that connection.
yeah, like whatever you give out there, that's what you're going to receive. So I would always tell my kids, you guys get the choreography. I'm not telling you that, we're all moving the same. They're hitting the beat right, but there's no connection. Dancing is supposed to make others feel something. It's not just like, you're moving. Like, I tell this to them all the time. Anybody can do this, okay? Anybody can do that. But you have to add your own groove, your own flavor to that. Just like how when there's food, the food can look good, but it doesn't mean that it tastes good,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And there's food that doesn't really look that good, but then when you eat it, you're like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I teach it to them, or that's how I explain it to them so they understand. And then be like, oh, you're right. So yeah, there's no wrong way of dancing. If you are into it, when you're feeling the dance, and this, we've seen it on TikTok, on YouTube. Somebody's not really a good dancer per se, like the ones who are dancing on TV. But when they're dancing, their soul, their heart is in it. They're in the moment, and it's so amazing to watch these people do it. They're like it's magic. They're believing in themselves. They're trusting they're trusting themselves that they can do it, and somehow the audience will believe it. You're like, okay, since you believe in yourself, then I believe in you.
Yeah, I think definitely that presence is so important because like you said before, it's like, being able to technically pull off the move is one thing, but being able to, bridge that connection so people actually feel that you want to be there and that you have that presence is,
Mhm.
the other half, probably the more important half.